Wayne Henry Garrison seemed to have murderous urges at a young age, as he had already killed 2 children before he turned 18, as one was his 4-year-old cousin and the other was a random 3-year-old boy that he kidnapped. For the second murder, he pleaded guilty to second-degree manslaughter and was out of jail before he graduated high school. Since he wasn't properly punished, his pedophilic urges were allowed to continue, and it was only a matter of time before he claimed another victim, and he almost got away with this one. Welcome to History's Biggest Villains. Wayne was born on August 26, 1959 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but he was a heartless child, getting a rabbit as a gift and then breaking its neck the day after. His violent tendencies would escalate to deadly levels on Halloween 1972, when he was just 13 years old. In the dead of night, he dragged his 4-year-old cousin Dana into the crawl space under the home. He then tied a headband around her neck and tightened it until she was unresponsive. Dana's father, James, was worried when he couldn't find his daughter, and he reported her missing at 7 a.m. The police eventually found her underneath the crawl space, where she had died from her injuries. Wayne was quickly arrested and soon confessed. He was sent to Griffin Memorial Hospital, and in 1974, he was allowed a 10-day leave. On May 29th, Wayne kidnapped 3-year-old Craig Neal and choked him to death. He hid the body underneath an abandoned house, and it was found on June 3rd. Wayne was arrested soon after, being charged with murder. However, he pled guilty to second-degree manslaughter and was sentenced to 4 years in prison. He was released on March 9, 1977 at 17 years old. He was able to return to school and graduate. Wayne later married and had a son, but of course he couldn't resist the urge to abduct a child. This latest victim was 13-year-old Justin Wiles, a partially deaf kid that lived only 5 miles from him. He sexually abused the boy and eventually killed him. He then dismembered the body and dumped the remains in Lake Bixoma, where they were found 4 days later by a fisherman. Upon hearing the news, Wayne quickly packed up his family and moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. He became the prime suspect in Justin's murder, especially after multiple witnesses identified him in his car at the scene of the boy's abduction. Wayne had an alibi by saying he was fishing at the time of the murder, but he named different lakes when asked for his location in multiple interviews. Even with the police breathing down his neck, Wayne couldn't stay out of trouble, being charged with insurance fraud in a later case. On February 9, 1996, he was found guilty of abducting an 11-year-old boy and giving him narcotics. As a surprise visit to his home by 2 deputies likely saved the boy from being killed. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 2 years in prison. With Wayne scheduled to be released soon, investigators in Oklahoma were working around the clock to find evidence to charge him with Justin's murder. The police finally got a lead when they found a bite mark on Wayne's arm. Justin's body was exhumed for dental records, and the indentations matched the mark. Wayne was released on October 22, 1999, but he was arrested 10 minutes later on a first-degree murder charge. Wayne insisted that he was innocent, but he was extradited to Oklahoma to be formally charged. His attorneys pulled out all the stops, calling this a witch hunt against their client, where the prosecution didn't have any good evidence. They requested that Justin's body be dug up again for another T sample, but this was denied. They also tried to pin his murder on George Kent Wallace, another child killer who was executed, but no evidence was found linking George to the murders, and Wayne's case moved to a trial in 2001. A testimony from Wayne's close friend Rick during the trial provided more damning evidence, as the prosecutor asked him, "When Wayne came to your house, how did he look to you? He had a lot of dirt on him, like he had been wrestling in dirt. Describe the smell you associated with Mr. Garrison." "He smelled like he had gutted an animal, an extremely bad odor." Rick also said that Wayne called and threatened him, saying, "You better forget what you know, because you got a daughter." The jury deliberated for 6 hours, finding him guilty of murder on November 2001. His sentencing was delayed after a stay in the prison hospital. This was reportedly due to a suicide attempt. On January 2002, he was sentenced to death, but it was later overturned on appeal. In 2007, Wayne accepted a deal in which he would have his death sentence thrown out if it meant he would waive the right to a resentencing trial. Garrison was resentenced to life without parole. It's just something about the child killers that just get to me, because it's just like, oh, you're just so sick. You just take advantage of little children. And the fact that he was this young already having these types of thoughts, like you have to think about what type of home life did he have to where this type of behavior was even festered. You know what I mean? And I know that, they're child killers. You can't really charge them as adults. You can't put them in an adult jail. The sentencing is crazy because you committed 2 murders before you graduated high school and you barely served any real time. And then, of course, when you let a guy like that out, because people who have attractions to children, they don't just stop being attracted to children when you lock them up. Like, they're not going to stop doing that. That's some type of sickness. let him rot in jail forever. Like, I'll never have any sympathy for a child killer. Never will. But thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate y'all for the support. Thank you guys for all the likes, all the comments, all the subscriptions. Thank you. Please be safe. Check out my audio only podcast on this episode. The link will be in the description. But thank you. Please be safe. Stay on the grind. I'm out. Peace.